Welcome back to the 3-song collection of Jim Norton on the Jim Norton Show. We'll have more songs next week, but this is not Gillette. This is a different system they use on Raw Dog. Hence the shitty song choice. Not shitty songs, but there's only a few of them. 866-4. I really have a speech thing. I cannot say that. 8664 Raw Dog. I'm here with my friend Amy Schumer. It's so weird saying my guest. It's my friend Amy. We've worked together many times. You're getting people are loving you.
Really?
Yeah, really are. I forget that you can't see the phone screen. I want to go to Fontaine in Virginia, who I know he calls the Opie and Anthony show all the time. Yes,
hey, guys.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, I didn't hear the thing. You fuck.
All right. Let me explain where that comes from. My mother, when I was a kid, I had Zim, which was like a little tennis thing, and my mother was helping me move it. It was a giant cement thing, and she said, "Don't drop it." And I'm like, "I won't." But then I dropped it, and it smashed on her finger, and she went, "Jimmy, you fuck." So that's where that comes from.
Yeah, you can never forget when your mom like lashes out and loses her shit.
She called me a fuck. I could never heard my mother say fuck before. So what's up, Fontaine?
Hey, Jimmy, I got a question for you, but Amy, I got to tell you, I haven't heard any of your material yet, but I'm loving the personality, so I know the material is going to be amazing once I do hear it. I can't wait for your DVD.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, Jimmy, I hear you talk about Keith Robinson a lot, and I've heard him on the show.
Yes.
Will you please tell me this lazy guy has a CD out somewhere that I can get his material?
I don't know.
He sells it out of the back of his van.
Yeah, he really does. He opens the doors of his fucking 83 Plymouth. I should have said trunk, but he opens the doors. What an asshole.
All the doors.
Yeah, no, Keith does not have a CD. You're right, Keith is lazy. He has no business sense. And he's really funny, too. He should have a CD.
He's hilarious.
He has a Comedy Central special, though. He did a special with them, so you could probably go on iTunes and download Keith's thing. Maybe I should get some of his stuff and play it, but since he's made no effort.
No, I know.
What am I, his manager?
You gonna write his resume for him?
Yeah. All right, Fontaine. Amy is very, very funny, though. You should watch your special.
I will, and I can't wait till you come back to Virginia. Unfortunately, you got snowed out last time.
Yes.
And have a good set all week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Caroline.
Thank you.
212-757-3100 for Jim Norton.
Fontaine!
Oh, I fucking love these people. Thank you, sir. You are a fantastic caller.
What a gentleman.
Joe in Oregon with a blackout story. Did you want to compliment Amy's blackout story, or did you have a blackout story?
I have a fantastic blackout story, but Amy, I've never heard of your stuff, so I can't really compliment you.
No worries.
But Mr. Norton, I travel full time driving over the country, and you've almost got me killed a few times. I've been laughing so hard.
Why, they drop the N-bomb with your window open?
No. Actually, you know what? Quick funny story. I was at a Taco Bell drive-thru, and my satellite radio went off, and the second the girl opened the door, you said "fucking faggot" really loud.
Wow.
That's the first thing you heard. I'm sitting there like, oh my god.
Wow.
But anyways,
I've actually yelled that into the mirror many times. Angrily. Go ahead, sir.
When I was younger in high school, we used to drink, but we were engineered of drunks. I mean, we would just do stupid shit, beer bongs, bong, rum, and coke. Anyways, it was after a post-prom party, and my friend and his girlfriend at the time kind of disappeared and went off in his truck out in the middle of nowhere. She was blowing him outside of his truck, and he had left the condom on top of the SUV. And then they got inside, and I started fucking around, and it was cold out this time of year.
Wait, he left the condom on the hood like it was a cup of coffee?
On the top of the truck. Yeah,
Okay.
on the top, on the very top.
Okay.
And this is a nice little SUV, has running boards and whatnot, which is going to be important later on in the story. Well, they can't.
Sir, how long is this story?
Let's call this a novel.
Truckers, we love truckers, but you guys do tend to be a little bit. Let's see if we can narrow it down, just because we only have a few minutes left.
Okay, quickly, he went to go find the condom, still on the running boards. His girlfriend got cold and shut the door. Well, shut the door on his dick, and he passed out from the pain instantly. Wakes up in a hospital, stitches in his cock, has no clue how he got there.
Jesus.
Is that now?
Yep.
That sounds like an urban legend. Is that a true story?
No, true story. I'm the one that had to pick him up at the hospital.
Wow, the door closed on
Where
his
was
dick.
his girlfriend?
Yeah,
She
no.
couldn't swing by, give him a lift after almost castrating him? Jesus.
Well, luckily, though, it didn't get the locking mechanism. It just, I guess, it bounced. So he got his car, and it literally looked like someone had slammed a ketchup packet in the door, and there was blood everywhere.
Well, you know he's not Asian. That's one thing we'll say about your friend. So you picked your black friend up at the... All right, well, thank you for the story, sir. I guess that one's a tough one to top. Cock closing the door. I've never heard that before.
It's a shame.
Do you find, when you're on the road and you're doing gigs, again, my crowds love Amy, and my crowds can be very, very difficult, and they're aggressive, and they're animals, but Amy's not apologetic. You're extremely funny and aggressive with the crowd, and I've seen you handle hecklers. Has anything been yelled at you that really hurt? Like, that bothered you?
No, nothing I can think of. What bothers me is if it looks like I hurt someone's feelings. That's only happened like 2 times where I was totally just joking and I wouldn't say anything like mean that I thought would hurt someone's feelings. But like there have been 2 times where I said something that I thought was like the perfect reference. And the person, like, it hit a little too close to home, and I could see that they were actually hurt rather than just what, people usually are. And that made me feel worse than anything. Like, if somebody was like, you're fucking gross, that I would rather that than somebody look like I actually hurt their feelings.
Yeah, it's once in a while. I saw Otto, actually. We had Otto on Opie and Anthony today. And he one time I was down at the shore watching him do a gig, and there's a guy in the wheelchair sitting off to the side, and Otto looked at him and said, what, are you waiting for a better seat? And the crowd was like, oh.
But the guy was probably fine.
It was great. He attacked the guy in a wheelchair. I loved it. It's like people with like, fucking disabled or whatever think that they're above being, and the guy was fine with it, but the audience kind of felt bad for him.
Yeah, those people, like one time, this woman had like leg braces, and I was like talking to her, and everybody else was getting awkward, but she was really cool with it. And then once people realized she was on board, then everybody like chills out, and I got to, make fun of her legs.
Right, it's always awkward when you have. What's worse though, when you're doing a show and you see a burn victim walk in, and they start walking towards the front of the room, you're like, oh, there goes 20 minutes of material out the fucking window.
Or toward the kitchen, and you're like, not again. Stay out of there.
And how do you handle bombing? I've never seen you bomb. I always ask people, even guys I know a long time about it, because I think it's the most fascinating element of what we do.
Yeah. Well, it's like always changing how I handle it, because I used to just bomb. Like I did that last comic tour of the whole country, and we had to do like a mandatory meet and greet after each one, and sometimes it would be a theater with like 200 people, but we did like arenas with up to 5,000 people. So I would like, and this was like 3-4 years ago, and I would bomb.
Really?
Like in arenas. Yeah, because I hadn't been doing it that long. Like, at first a joke wouldn't work, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, like, hope you like this next one, like tap dancing through my act. Like, I gave a shit. And then from bombing so much, I was like, no, I think this shit is funny. That's why I'm saying it.
Right.
So if you don't like it, fuck you. I've seen you do that on stage. If the crowd turns on you at all, if they're like, ooh, you're like, fuck you. And that's the best thing you can do, because you're like, no, this is the shit I'm saying, and I think it's funny. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You can pick up a mic and say the opposite if you want.
I find that's what's the most enraging part. It's not if they don't laugh because they don't think the joke is good, but when they start to judge it, that's to me the only way. It's like when if you do a racial joke and someone says you're a racist, the only way to meet that is with belligerence and to be fucking vehement back at them, and don't go, well, maybe, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, well, I should really take a look at myself. No, I wouldn't joke about anything that I didn't just think was funny and based in a little bit of truth, for me. Like if there's a racist joke, it's because of there's stereotypes that are out there that we all know, So I'm not going to act like my black friends know how to swim.
Yeah.
Why would I, like it's true. A lot of black people cannot swim. Why aren't we allowed to talk about that? Because our first grade teacher told us we can't. Well, as a comedian, you can say whatever you want.
I think that's actually the first thing I say when I meet a black person. It's like, I've heard you're a shitty swimmer. Comment?
Would you like some floaties, sir? Yeah.
So what did you do before comedy? It's funny. I know, Amy, it's weird how, like, when you know people, but you don't, there's so many weird shit you don't know about them. What did you do before you did stand-up?
I had a lot of jobs. I guess the most interesting, I was a petty cab driver in Santa Barbara. Like, I had like the rickshaw on the bike. And I think that's funny because, first of all, it was like in Santa Barbara. Have you been there? It's like there's this main street called State Street. It's like this big hill. And I would just like ride to the top of the hill and hope people just wanted to go down.
Right.
But that never happened. And I was like, I was in okay shape, but a bunch of times I'd be like, everybody out, we all have to push this shit up the hill. But I was living with a boyfriend out there who wasn't working. And his like family was rich, so I was like, we'll be fine. But I'd be like riding all night, like sweating, and he'd like be like, come here, I need money for Chinese food. And I'd be like, here, I love you. Like riding off, and in retrospect, I'm like, wow, what a piece of shit. But at the time, you're like, things will work out, everybody's nice, and life is awesome.
Like a fucking Tracy Chapman song.
Yeah, but really, I was just a fucking rickshaw driver for a summer.
Wow. What did you do? Did you just kind of like pretend you didn't see fat people? How awful was it when you see a fatso waving you down?
Oh yeah, I would act like I was blind, and they're like, you're riding a bike, bitch. And I'm like, I can't. I ride just like I was asleep, like pedaling. I'd act like I was sleeping.
Yeah, and they could see that there's nobody in your pedicab. How humiliating being fat.
Oh God, it was a nightmare. I definitely like said no to a lot of people.
You have to. You have to. I mean, like the cabbies don't want to pick people up. It's a little easier if you're a cabbie to avoid somebody, but if you're on a bicycle, hey,
like you can't pretend like you don't hear them. Yeah.